Week 2 was full of long days and lots of equipment rentals. As you know, we did not have a road, and so we began clearing, cutting with chainsaws, and taking down as many trees as we could along an old logging path that it looked like was on the property many, many years ago. We started to clear what was there and did our best to get as much of the trees down as we could so we could start parking our car up there and get the Mini X up there to start taking out the stumps and be able to safely remove some of the bigger trees that definitely needed the equipment to help us as we burned it and chipped it and eventually got it to the point where we could drive our vehicle safely up to the top, which helped us a lot. Here's the road that we eventually carved out of the hillside. We started clearing an area that we could safely clear brush and burn. We even got an aerial shot of the small little area that we had cleared at this point. The tractors were incredibly helpful during this time, and we could not have done it without the equipment rentals. We started grading our road and getting the crown right. We knew that drainage was so important and every ditch had to be dug perfectly. We took our time and made sure that everything was perfect as we ordered gravel and got ready for so many of the big trucks we knew would come onto the property, such as the well digging trucks, the lumber delivery trucks, the cement trucks, and so much more. Here's a few pictures of all of the hard work that we put in, the gravel, the raking, and got the road ready to go. Of course, after a hard day's work, you needed a meal. We turned to the Hot Pockets. It was 1 pound of beef, 1 tablespoon of olive oil. We even added some lemon juice, which really made it flavorful. And we both love garlic and chili powder. You're going to shred your potatoes nice and thin. Of course, add some onions for flavor. And then get a lot of aluminum foil. This is how you're going to cook it. You're already clearing brush and burning. So you'll want to put a little garlic salt on there, stir it all up together. We did this the night before any weekend or day that we knew we were out burning and hauling brush all day. You're going to paste this evenly in 2 Hot Pocket meals. Wrap it well with your tin foil. Make sure that the sides are sealed because you do want it to steam kind of like an oven, but you don't want to lose your moisture or else things can burn. I'll show you exactly how to wrap it. You fold up and get it long and narrow down the center of the aluminum foil, and then you'll start to fold over the middle section. Slowly by slowly, you'll pinch that off and get that ready for a sealed, airtight way to start kind of an oven heating is what you're trying to create. So you just really, really want to make sure there's no open seams. Definitely crunch down, take 2 or 3 passes, really make sure that that's done. Push any extra potatoes and meat in there. It's so tasty. You won't want to miss a single piece. And then close up those edges. You can just simply roll them right up tight. Do that on both sides. Turn it around, roll that up tight, and there you go. You have a wonderful, hot, nutritious meal that we can eat that'll go right in the fire that we're already burning all the brush with, and it really, really helps. Of course, if you're going to start a fire, it's absolutely imperative that you clear the leaves around your fire pit and get ready for any and every spark that will definitely jump out. Fires love to grow and they love to spread. And if you're going to start one, you also have to be responsible for it. So it's something that you want to plan for. This is a poplar tree. It's something I always look for when I'm starting a fire. The leaf is pretty easy to spot once you know what you're looking for. The poplar tree is very straight and it often drops these dead branches, but it's really the bark that you want to go after. You can pull this bark up just like I'm doing in the video, and you want that long stringy bark. If it just breaks apart or it's brittle, it might be too old, and you don't want anything too fresh, so it definitely needs to have sat on the ground for a little bit. So keep pulling these strips, and I'll show you why that's important for your fire in just a minute. You want to get a nice handful. You definitely going to use more than you think you will. So use the stick. It's already on the ground and fallen. It's a great way to use what nature's already given you right there on the ground. You just have to know what you're looking for. And part of that is just being out in the woods and recognizing what you see and enjoying what's around you, but also being purposeful. And I think that's so important. So many things we overlook in life, and we don't realize that there's things, there's tools, there's opportunity right around the corner, right in front of our face. We just pass by it, or we're so busy in our life that we don't necessarily recognize just how much of life we actually miss because of the fast-paced life that a lot of us live. So this is called like a bird nest, is what a lot of people call it, or like a tinder bundle. And you're just going to break apart that's that same poplar bark. You're just breaking it apart, making sure that you break up those big fibers, and it will slowly break down on its own as you rub it together and kind of shred it up as you work it back and forth and really get it more fibrous and fluffy. You're looking for a texture similar to a bird's nest, and so even a bird's nest shape will help you later kind of keep your fire and hold it all together. This does take a little time, but it's super fun to do with your family, friends, kids, and skills that can help you in any situation. My dad always told me if I practice now, when it's not a crisis, when there is a crisis, I can just act like it's practice. And I always took that to heart because it was something that just showed me that your mindset is really the biggest point and the game changer of your success in life. How are you going to tackle what's in front of you? How are you going to go about it? Will you conquer it? Will you get defeated by it? Will you look for new ways to overcome it and learn? Will you challenge yourself? It was something that always stuck with me, and so it's something that encourages me through life now. You can see how I'm making the bird's nest and getting it fluffy, and also just making sure that those fibers are broken up. That's really your biggest thing. If the fibers are too big, unfortunately, it may not catch the ferro rod spark. This is all, it had just rained, so it was pretty wet. So I'm actually going to use this cotton ball. It's dipped in Vaseline, and that is really going to help catch that ferro rod spark, just again because it had literally just rained. So always have your match size sticks, then kind of your finger stick, and then a little bit bigger. Just, you always kind of have those 3 bundles of sticks before you start your fire. If you have a ferro rod, or you don't, go ahead and buy one and start practicing. They're a lot of fun. There's skills that you can learn every single day. It's easy to use. You put one hand down with the striker, and the other hand holds the magnesium ferro rod. You pull back, pull back, pull back until you see that flame. The sparks will come, and then you've got those match size sticks right on top. You've already got your bird's nest bundle, the all that bark that you did and shredded and got ready. And then those match size sticks are right up on top to catch that flame, and you can kind of see it start to grow. It'll be a light smoke. I think a lot of times when people get to this stage in the fire, they want to touch it and blow on it and mess with it, and sometimes too much can actually put it out. If you see that it needs more oxygen, then obviously go ahead and start blowing, but this is a good consistent smoke. It's going to do just fine. Fire can be finicky, and if you mess with it too much, you can actually put out your own fire just by not tending to it. But fires are pretty easy. Just start feeding them slow. Those 3 bundles, you can see the match size sticks have really caught now. You've got that finger size stick up above, and then a little bit thicker, maybe kind of closer to your thumb. And that goes on the very top so that flame just keeps going up, up, up all the way. And it catches really well. If you have rocks, you'll see that I lined the rocks all the way around this fire. And I think that's really helpful to know where your fire is and to keep your brush in. I really like doing that. It just helps me stay safe And then, of course, if you have time and you're watching and paying attention to your fire, you can burn your leaves. It just really helps to keep your area clean if this is where you're going to stay and you know this is where you're going to cook. Do fires often. You can clean up what's around you so that you just never have a chance for a wildfire or any kind of issues that fire can cause if they're left unattended too long or not taken care of well and not kept where they should be. You know, fire is wonderful in its way. It can keep you warm and safe and can cook food. But when it's taken out of the fire pit, it can certainly cause a whole lot of trouble. We did a lot of clearing. We burned hollies and bushes and things that we didn't necessarily want growing around our area. This is kind of the place we decided we were going to eat every day. So we did take some time and just got it ready as a nice area. We had the job site that we knew we were going to be working on, but then we got this ready for just every day to kind of knock off at lunch and have a place to come. And so this is those hot pockets. You can put them on a rake and just pop them right on to that coal bed. You can see those nice hot red coals. That's what you're looking for. And the rake really works best for us. Just make sure you don't puncture your tin foil. You know, the biggest thing is like keeping it so that it doesn't ever lose all that moisture in there, so it cooks well. And then all you're going to do is just rake those coals right back over the top. It's really simple. It's a fantastic way to get a meal in and keep working and doing the things you need to around your house. You just rake those coals over the top, completely cover it in the coals. That's what you're looking for. And then you're going to start a timer for 20 minutes. Keep going. Make sure those coals are completely covered it like that. You can't even see them, but they're in there. We threw some leaves on top just because we were burning. We also knew exactly where the hot pockets were, so we weren't too worried about that. The dogs, of course, are curious and having fun, and they're always there helping us in the process. So 20 minutes went by, and we are about to take these guys out. 3, 2, 1, and they are ready to go. So we're going to dig into these leaves and find our 2 Hot Pocket meals and enjoy a really, really nice lunch. We have been burning, hauling brush. I mean, this week was just so busy. And you get hungry when you're outside working like that and doing everything. You definitely are ready for a warm, hearty meal that you can just sit down and enjoy and actually take a second, get off your feet. So if you want to use that rake again, that's super easy. You can just pull those out again with the rake. Grab the other one. You know where they are because you're the one that put them in there. So if you don't, you can kind of scratch around again. Just be careful. The last thing you want to do is puncture those tin foils, and because now you're just trying to get them out, and they're all cooked. 20 minutes always works for us. As long as you have a good coal bed, there's no reason it would need more than that. These are hot. So if you've got sticks, or like I said, the rake just seems to work really well. Sometimes you just got to get it out of the fire and let it cool down for a minute. But there you go. That's a Hot Pocket. Let's break into this and see what they look like inside. If you kind of start at the edges and roll those out, that'll definitely help you open the middle. More so what you're looking for is just getting that middle open. And I kind of used a fork here just because it did start to get really hot on my fingers, but you can see some of the ash too on there. You definitely want to pour that off, because if you open that and that falls in, it's just going to get all over your meal, and we don't really want to eat ash and potatoes and meat when you could just knock it off well. So we're breaking it open. You've got some potatoes, some meat, our onions. We got olive oil and garlic and pepper and salt. And man, is that yummy. It smells so good, y'all. That is some good lunch right there. Definitely after a hard day. So we just scrape that into our bowls and get ready to enjoy a meal before we go back to work and hit those trees hard as we keep burning and clearing brush and I think it's just part of developing that raw land again is just you're going to be out there for hours, but that's so much part of why we did it. We wanted to get away from the concrete jungles, the little apartments that we'd always lived in. We wanted something different. We wanted to be outside more than we were inside, and we wanted to be off of technology and trying new things and learning. And man, it has been so rewarding to be out here, to breathe fresh air, to see the stars. We even have met so many wonderful people that that community is so critical for us to keep up and enjoy, as a lot of people have gone before us and know so much they can teach us, and we are sponges, so excited to learn. We can't wait to challenge ourselves, but to grow as well. And these are the little moments, the little things that help us remember, one, why we did it, and two, that it will be worth it for us, because this is just exactly the kind of thing that we were missing. The emptiness of watching a TV show was just not something we wanted anymore. You know, it fills your hour, but it leaves you feeling empty. It wasn't satisfying. You didn't accomplish anything. And we wanted something different than that. We wanted to feel like we were making progress or developing land. And so, man, these potatoes and meat were really good. I am so thankful we did this before we came out here. It was definitely worth the hard work. We cooked it over the fire and enjoyed that before we went back at it. So this week has just been full of all of the road work. The fact that we got the car up was just a big morale boost to not have to walk the driveway. The driveway was really long. So getting those stumps out, though, was really important. And we knew that we had to do that in order to drive up. But, of course, that made the roads really slick once we crowned it. So getting that gravel on was really important. And that was so nice to get those loads in and rake them out and start driving on an actual driveway. It definitely helped out. Thanks, guys, for watching week 2. Please like and subscribe.